Hi there. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a new way to access past lives and why I think we actually need to update what we call them. I'm Dawn Phoenix, an intuition alchemist. Welcome to my channel. And if you're coming back, welcome back. So I got this download from the universe the other morning when I was laying in bed. And I was thinking about past lives because one of the things that I do when I work with people is past life regressions, or what we're currently referring to as past life regressions. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and I got into it really because I was super interested in past life regressions. And I went to a group past life regression myself back in 2016, and it just blew me away. And I said, I want to learn how to do this. So I did. I went to hypnotherapy school and I learned how to bring people through past lives to get healing or to, ratify maybe contracts they have with other people or to get gifts, from that past life and bring it into this lifetime. And I've been thinking, okay, so if linear time is an illusion, then that means the past and the future don't exist because everything exists in the now moment. All right. So, in that case, if we look at time in that way, our experience of it is linear. But the download I got from the universe is that we are on a spiral and we can be anywhere on that spiral. It's infinite, and our soul's experience is just based on where we are at the time of our experience, where we are on that spiral. So the universe gave me this image of, I don't know, if you're younger, you might not know what I'm talking about. So I will explain, of a record or an LP. So it's, looks like a giant black CD. Everybody knows what they look like, right? But specifically, it was a record because a record has grooves on it, and it contains the whole record, could be an album or a song, and the music is already there on the record. It just depends on where the needle of the record player is placed that determines what you hear. So that for me was a huge aha moment. I love music, and so I love that the universe gave it to me, in terms of something musical. So if we think of our existence, not flat like a record, but take a record and stretch it, into a spiral, then a past life isn't past, it's happening in this now moment, but we're just not experiencing it until we pick up the needle and place the needle on that particular life. So it kind of also reminded me of, a radio. If you have a radio, you have lots of different channels you can choose from. And just because you're not tuned to the frequency of one channel doesn't mean it's not playing. It's not putting out music. It's not giving you the news. You're just not hearing it because you're not tuned into that frequency. So, like the record, it just depends on where you put the dial, or, if it's digital, where you're programming that frequency, to connect with that frequency. So if we think of ourselves in terms of music. And I really like this record idea, so I'm gonna run with it. We think of ourselves, our existence, our souls as being like a record. Then we can move anywhere on that record and experience any part of our song that we want to without having to move backward or forward. We're just moving where the needle is on our particular record or spiral. So I was thinking about also, I was laying in bed and getting this download from the universe. How in my hypnotherapy school, when I went back in 2017, how they taught to access past lives by bringing your client down the river of time in a boat. And then when they get to the past life that they're intending to experience in that session, the boat stops and then they can get out. And then I walk through the rest of the protocol. So that, of course, a river, follows a very linear concept. So I was thinking, well, okay, if I'm going to veer off of, the concept that time is linear, it's only our experience of it, that is, and that we exist on a spiral, a 3D spiral is just always playing. And we can choose where we want to be experiencing in this now moment. We get to choose depending on where we take that needle on the record player and put it down in that particular session. So I haven't done it yet. I'm kind of just playing with the idea, but I wanted to, toss it out and just share that cool download about the record and how we're not moving backward or forward on a line, but that we have freedom to go anywhere we want on a spiral because everything is accessible to us right now in this now moment. And it's not about something, reaching back for something in the past or reaching forward for something in the future. It's just about setting the intention to experience what you want to experience in this now moment. So if the spiral, the idea of the soul spiral could work for past lives, I do the air quotes now, then that could also work for future lives. There's also things in hypnotherapy called future life progression. It's a little lesser known because people usually want to go back in time and find out who was I, and what happened to me? How did I die? And those things. But future life progression exists, and it's actually very beneficial. When I was living in North Carolina at the Outer Banks in 2019, right before COVID hit, on New Year's Eve of that year of 2020, I did a live in-person group future life progression so that people could meet a possible future version of themselves and get any wisdom and advice from that version of themselves to bring into the current life they were experiencing as they rang in the new year. And it was really awesome. And I'm thinking about, okay, well, then what happened? What happened in that session was people, they met that version of themselves in a train station because that was a place where stuff was moving back and forth. And so that was a place where they could get on and travel to, and their future self could get on a train and travel to them and they could meet. And so I'm thinking, wow, we wouldn't even need the concept of a train station, in these soul spiral sessions because we can just choose where we want to go on that spiral. It's not backward or forward. It's just, if you think of the record player, where do we want to pick up that needle? Do we want to put it on something that we haven't experienced, that we don't think we've experienced yet? Or something that we think we've already experienced? I thought that was cool too, because since we're eternal beings and everything is happening all at once, it's just up to us to choose what we want to experience in this now moment. So I really love this idea, and I thank the universe for the download, because I feel like it gives us agency and sovereignty for what we want to experience in this now moment, and also to break free of that very limiting concept, that illusion that time is linear. Because if you haven't already listened to the channeled message from Nathan, linear time, I'll put that other video down in the description box below, or I'll put it, here so you can access it. Linear time is a trap. It's a lie. And so it keeps us disempowered and thinking that time happens in a linear fashion and there's nothing we can do about it, and we live our lives from birth to death. And that's it. We don't have a way to experience anything outside of the linear time concept. We don't have the power to say, I say no to the clock and I'm going to tune into my intuition and be empowered and do the things that feel good to me, that I am getting guidance on from the universe, not what a clock is telling me. Within reason, again, it's not 24/7. Not saying quit your job, say whatever to the schedules, not that. It's an introduction to becoming timeless and living outside of linear time. So I just wanted to share with you that cool download, that we are music. We are the universe's songs. And we have the power to, with our intention, or, if you want to work with someone like a hypnotherapist, to access in any moment an existence that's currently happening right now that you're just not experiencing. And you can find videos on past life regression and things like that all over the place on YouTube for free. You don't have to pay anybody. But just keep in mind, that those likely are based on the whole concept of linear time, like the ones that I've been doing are. So I just wanted to pass that along and remind you how very powerful you are, that you have the choice to change your experience with your intention. So I want to thank you so much for watching. And if you are a spiritual seeker, or a spiritual entrepreneur, I would love to invite you to my Phoenix Rising community where we play together, step into our sovereignty, claim our self-leadership, and that allows us to shine our lights even brighter into the world together. And if you resonated with this video, don't forget to give it a like. And if you wanted to, share it with someone who might get something out of it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so we can come play together. And know that I am sending you so much love. Mwah. Thank you, as always, for being you.